Hey everyone, this is Richard, CEO of altFINS. In this trading video, I will take a look at the state of the market. We've had a nice little rally in the last week or two, and look at the memes, some of the major memes like Dodge, SHIB, BONK, WIF, and a couple of others, because those were some of the best performers last week, and see if that's telling us something about the market overall, which I think it is. So again, let's take a look at the performance tab here on the screener. What we can see here is that the market in the last week, Bitcoin is mostly flat, although it is up 20% since September 6th. And a number of other assets, like I said, SHIB, had a big week. Pepe is up 37% in just 1 week. In fact, we can zoom in just on the memes by picking the category. But let's see, let's go ahead and do that. So there's a number of different categories you can pick from. Even within the memes category, you got celebrity memes, political memes. Let's just pick the generic memes here. Okay, and so now we can see the performance for Shiba, Pepe, WIF, up 45%, FLOKI in the last week 20%, and so on and so forth. Okay, so clearly big performance from the memes category, but I still think this is just the beginning. Part of the catalyst for the recent rally was the 50 basis point cut by the US central bank, the Fed. But even prior to that, we saw a number of assets, altcoins, already showing signs of bottoming out after maybe 6 months of decline. And we saw a number of falling wedge and channel down pattern breakouts with nice gains. But again, I still think that this is just the beginning, and that where there's more upside ahead, and that we could be looking at a pretty major rally into the year end, and that could actually extend into 2025 as the Fed continues to cut rates, because there's still a lot of room for cutting by the Fed, and lower interest rates are typically very positive for risk assets like equities and cryptocurrencies as well. So what am I saying, or what am I talking about when I say there's still more upside, right? Well, when we go back to the performance tab and add a couple of other data points here. So let's add the all-time high price and how far are we from the all-time high. But even the 52-week low and how far we are down from 52-week low. Okay, so here we can see that even Bitcoin is still 14% away from all-time high, but some of the other assets, altcoins, Ripple is 81% below the all-time high. Okay, but that's obviously long time ago, but even from the recent highs in April that we had this year, when we look at the 52-week highs, we're down for a lot of the assets anywhere from 16 to 60% for Shiba, down 62% for Polkadot, down 40% from Near protocol. So a lot of the assets, altcoins, are still pretty far down or below their 52-week highs, just from the levels that we saw in April, 6 months ago. So we still we've got a long ways to go. I mean, we could see 100% type of gains from these levels by the end of this year or early 2025. Now, obviously, we want to be smart about our entry and not FOMO in, and so let's take a look at what's going on in terms of the some of the technical analyses that we have. So when you go to the technical analysis section, Here we keep technical analyses on over 60, some of the major or larger altcoins. And sure, you're going to see some bullish trade setups, but a number of them have really achieved their near-term price target, and they're up against their resistance. So if you go under the pattern type and look up approaching resistance, you're going to see a lot of the assets on this list, right? Approaching resistance right here. And that's why they're still neutral or already neutral, right? Some of them have had really nice breakouts, but are now approaching their resistance level. And some of them are not only approaching resistance, but are overbought. So that's another pattern type here, overbought at resistance. These assets are certainly at risk of pulling back in the near term. Let's see what I mean by that. Let's go ahead and pick, for example, let's go ahead and pick FLOKI. Okay, so if I open up the analysis, you'll see that the asset had a nice breakout from the falling wedge pattern, and I talked about this, right? We've seen a lot of this, this falling wedge pattern or channel down pattern. Some bullish breakouts, and the price, is up 30-40% since then, but reached some stiff resistance area. In this case, the resistance area is particularly pronounced because it's a combination of a 200-day moving average as well as the horizontal resistance zone, okay, right here. So more than likely the price is going to get rejected, at least at first one or two attempts to break through it. Not only that, but based on the RSI, the price, the RSI got as high as 70, 72 or so. So when you see that, when the price is approaching resistance and it's overbought, meaning RSI over 70, that's typically followed by some pullback, some profit taking, a bit of a consolidation before the price can resume its uptrend. Okay, and so we'd be buyers here if the price pulls back near the support zone of 13 cents, or it's not 13 cents, but it's 0.00013. So if it pulls back to the nearest support, I'd be a buyer. Or if it breaks through this resistance area, then the price can fly much higher after that. So I'm waiting for one of those two scenarios, and that's actually explained in the trade setup right here. Similarly with SHIB, also had a breakout from a falling wedge that was forming all the way from the highs in April. Look at this massive spike here in March. And then since then, the asset was just gradually declining, trading in the falling wedge pattern until we've seen a breakout recently in early September. And that signaled a potential bullish trend reversal, right? And now we're looking at nice, what was it, about, call it also 30-40% gains since that breakout. But it reached, again, a stiff resistance area. Again, when 200-day moving average lines up with the horizontal resistance area, we typically see some profit taking. And on top of that, the RSI reached, I think it was as high as 80. So it was really overbought right at that resistance, stiff resistance. So I'm not surprised to see the price pull back here. Again, I'm waiting now for price to either pull back to the support of the nearest support or break through that resistance area, and in which case we could see that followed by another 30% run to the next resistance area. So knowing your resistance and support areas are absolutely key concepts for trading, something that we teach in our crypto trading course. I believe it's in lesson 3 or 4. It's under the crypto education section here, so I would encourage you to go through that course because it's extremely insightful and it will help you with your trading. Pepe, let's take a look at Pepe. Again, similar situation. In this case, there was a breakout from a channel down pattern. Nice gains, call it 25, 30%. But it got really overbought as the RSI spiked above 70, just around that resistance area. So I wouldn't be chasing it here. It could still go higher. I'm not saying that it may not, but I just feel like the upside and the downside, the risk reward trade-off is not that attractive here. So I'm waiting for the price to pull back maybe to that 200-day moving average or that support for another swing trade entry in the uptrend. And as far as trend goes, Pepe is now back in an uptrend on a medium term basis. I tend to look at the medium trend horizon. So it's up in the uptrend, which is not surprising because the price has broken back above the 200-day moving average, which is typically a signal of an uptrend. So that's Pepe. Let's look at, I believe we have also BONK and WIF. So let's go ahead and take a look at those situations. So I'll look at BONK here. So this one broke out of the falling wedge pattern. This was a more recent breakout. It's also broken through the 200-day moving average, which is an indication of a bullish trend reversal. So in this case, we can see the price, still has a bit of upside to the next resistance zone up here at 4 zeros and 30. So maybe another 15% potential upside here. It is a bit overbought now at 74 RSI, so we may get a little bit of a pullback in the near term before it gets there. And then the last one from the memes category that I think we have here is WIF. Let's take a look at what's going on over there. Okay, similar situation with BONK where it was a channel down pattern again, also starting from way back in April, and we finally saw a bullish breakout just maybe 10 days ago or so or less, and that breakout has worked really nice. It's up about 25% since the breakout. It's broken above the 200-day moving average, but it is getting very overbought here. As you can see, RSI at almost 79, almost 80. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a bit of a pullback here, some traders taking their profits, and in which case, it could be again, give us another entry opportunity somewhere closer to the $2 key level area. Okay, well, overall, I'd say the market is definitely showing some very positive signs of a turnaround or reversal from the downtrend that we had been in the last 6 months, really since the peaks in April. And what I'm hoping to see is really a shallow pullback and then another another rally after that. So in summary, I would emphasize that you be aware of the resistance and support areas, particularly resistance areas on the way up. You may see some pullbacks, especially if the asset is also overbought on the RSI indicator level. So beware of those situations, so you don't FOMO in at the wrong time, and maybe exercise some patience around the entry level when you see those situations. Lighten up or wait for a pullback to the next support area, and then swing entry, at that level for again the next upswing in the market that I think will be coming the rest of the year. All right, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions or feedback, please email us at invest@altfins.com. Also, encourage you to review the education course that's available to you. And finally, keep in mind that this video was for informational purposes only, not meant to be financial advice, and do your own research. Good luck trading.